Welcome back to WFMJ Community Connection. You know, racism is something that I really like to discuss, especially if it helps to open eyes. Joining me this morning are Shelia Triplett from MYCAP and Sister Patricia McNicholas with the Ursuline Sisters Humility of Mary, and they're representing the Action Racial Justice Task Force. They're going to tell us about an upcoming virtual event called Racism at the Crossroads, Healing the Great Divide. Welcome, ladies, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So, Sister Patricia and Sister Shelia, why are you both a part of this committee?
Well, I'll start. Both the Ursuline Sisters and the Humility of Mary Sisters are part of Action. And this year, knowing that racism is the question of our time, we wanted to do more to educate our own sisters about this topic, as well as community associates. And we held a couple of workshops and then decided to join force with Action to sponsor a workshop. I guess that's the more immediate reason. And the more remote or visionary or reflective reason is I think it's part of the role of women religious. I was reading a reflection recently by Thomas Merton, who was a monk who died years ago, and he said, our vocation in the world, in history, and in time, in my time, which is the present, is to choose to do the work I'm capable of doing in collaboration with my brothers and sisters to make the world better, more free, more just, more livable, more human. And that really expresses the vision of why religious are involved in Action.
Sister Patricia, Thomas Martin hit the nail on the head with that statement. You're right. Now, Shelia, how is MYCAP involved with Action?
I am on the Action board, and I'm the chair of the Racial Justice Committee.
Mm-hmm.
And that's initially how I got involved from the Action side, but I'm also an Ursuline associate. And so it's part of our ministry and part of our mission to deal with social justice and to be involved in the community. And during these times where racism is on the forefront and it's the thing that's on everyone's mind, we want to do more than just talk about it. We want to create some action. We want to do something that's going to benefit the community.
You are right. We need to do more than just give lip service. We need to do more and have action. And that's why we're with Action. I love it. Now, the workshop is going to be a 2-day workshop, right? I've got that correct?
Yes.
And it's going to prepare us to plan an action based on conversation about systems that are impacted by racism. Now, there's 2 sisters that are here. Can either of you tell me about these 2 sisters and how they will navigate this workshop for us?
Well, this is the second part of our conversation about racism. We had the first part with Sister Patricia Chappelle and Sister Anne-Louise Nadeau in November. And now they're going to come back for the action part. They're going to take a deeper look at racism and what are the things that impact it and how can we create an action plan, something that we can do in our own communities to bring about some change and to have people recognize that we can't just have the conversation about racism. We have to create a plan of action where we're doing something and we can see that our actions have created change in our community. And both of these sisters have been doing this for over 20 years in communities across the country. And so they know what they're doing. They know how to tailor what they do to the community and bring out the very best at each community that they present their program in to make us take a real look at who we are as a community and what do we really want to do to change that has some impact on racism in the Youngstown area.
Sister Patricia, the Humility of Mary and the Ursuline Sisters, you all do a lot in our communities. It matters not the race of people, and I think that that's what puts you and your organization in the forefront of what you're doing. Now, how important is this workshop for you to invite our community to participate? How would you do so, Sister Patricia? What do you want to say to our community to make them get out and join us?
I think for the white community, it's important for us to face the reality that we have a privilege just by definition for being white in this culture. And we need to use that privilege to benefit and to end a system that divides people into we and they. We also want to focus in the workshop on systems, not on individuals. And we don't want to say, well, you're a failure or you've made a mistake. It's what are the systems in our community, such as the education system that's based on property values. And then we could take that back to say, why are property values lower in some areas? Because they're redlining and discrimination. And in the end, that has affected the school systems and their ability, for example, or the legal economic system. When I think of the economic system, I think of the comfort level we have in our community with lack of concern for the lack of living wages being paid to so many people, and especially people of color. And we're comfortable shopping at stores and not worrying about it, and so on. So the purpose of this workshop is not to sit in judgment on individuals, but to call us to examine those systems and say, what can we do to make this world a better place for all of us? We'll all benefit if everybody has an opportunity to use their gifts in the community.
I agree with you 100%. And Sheila, I know that you agree. I know as much as you see at the Mahoning Youngstown Community Action Program, I know you see a whole heck of a lot on a day-to-day basis, even though we're in a pandemic. I know that you see a lot. And one thing that I want to just say that is really good is that this is part 2. So this is like the wrap-up aspect of now take the action, and now we're going to go to work, right, Sheila?
Exactly, because if change is going to happen, we need the white community to be our allies in this. You know, the people who suffer the effects of racism can't make the change unless, you know, the white community sees their role in it, and not just in perpetuating racism, whether it's passive or whether it's active, but to see that the change is going to come when we all work together and see that it affects everyone. Right. You know, and if this community is going to be whole and healthy, it's going to take all of us to work together, and all of our allies in the white community have to see what they can do and see their role, and to see us as partners in creating you know, what the sisters call a beloved community. That's what we want to create.
And indeed, we do have a beloved community. I would like to thank you, Sister Patricia and Sheila. I call you sister because you are my sister. I want to thank both of you for being here this morning and sharing this information about this upcoming workshop. And I'm going to encourage our viewers to get involved. Really, no matter what you belong to, whether you're part of the police department or the fire department or any department that represents our city, know how to deal with systematic racism and how we are going to solve the problems. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me this morning. I appreciate both of you this morning.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate you and the work that you do in the community also.
Thank you, thank you. And that was Sister Patricia and Sister Sheila. I am so glad that they are, you know, a part of my community, and that I could call upon them and trust them to make sure that we solve all the problems regarding racism in our community. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with the Oh Wow moment. Back in one moment.